I think that innovation exists everywhere. But do you have the structures to let it flourish? So we're not going to be held back. We're going to prove that they can.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
When you think about our nation's top CEOs, your mind probably goes to a Fortune 500 company or the founder of a tech startup. But what if impact wasn't just measured by quarterly earnings or market share? What if it's measured by the lives you change, the future you shape, and the opportunities you create every single day? What if your work opened doors for thousands of children and the educators who serve them and strengthen entire communities? That's exactly what's happening under the leadership of Patricia Brantley, CEO of the Friendship Public Charter School Network and a recent inductee into the National Charter School Hall of Fame. Pat leads one of the nation's largest and highest performing public charter school systems. Today we go beyond the title to explore the purpose, passion, and leadership behind her impact. Let's go.
You will be inducted into one of the most prestigious bodies within the charter school movement. You will be inducted into the Charter School Hall of Fame. And I understand that in 20 years, only 60 visionaries, innovators, builders within our national landscape of public education have ever been inducted. First, before I get into any other question, you have to tell me, how does that feel?
It's an interesting question because when I get the how does it feel, it often seems that people are looking at me. I look at it and I say, first, Friendship's founder, Donald Hentz, was Friendship's first entrant into the Hall of Fame. I'm the second. It's the power of friendship that I think has moved us both into the Hall of Fame. And so it isn't so much about me, it's about being able to shepherd this belief that all children, no matter where they come from, their walks of life, can really achieve at the highest levels. And it's about building the schools that allow them to do so. And so I'm really proud of the Hall of Fame, not just because they're inducting me, but because I think it feels like the exclamation point on the work that Friendship has strived to do over the last 30 years.
Take us back to the beginning, okay? Why the charter school movement? Why Friendship?
You know, before working in charter schools, I worked for Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, as you well know. We both did. And Dr. Height believed that education was the most powerful thing that we could do for children to set them on a path. But she also believed that it was the civil rights issue of our time during that time. And I believed that too. And so when I met Donald and he said to me, do you want to come do something important for children? You know, I'm in civil rights. I'm thinking, I think I'm doing something really important. But it was hard to resist this idea that you could both deliver a better future for children, and you would do it by ensuring that they had the right to a high quality education. And it was so powerful to be part of something that was building an institution, yes, because I think we can all agree Friendship is an institution now after nearly 30 years, but a pathway for children to reach their dreams. It was hard not to be compelled by that vision.
So what did DC public education look like when you answered the call to join Friendship?
It's hard for me to talk about DC public education without grounding it in the children that we actually knew and saw coming into Friendship House's daycare centers, being there as 3 and 4-year-olds and then going off to kindergarten and coming back for after school. And you could see that these children, full of talent, bright, ready for the world, full of joy, that something started getting lost. And so DC public education at that time could not lift up these children so that they could explore their own gifts, so that they could have the future that they deserved. We thought we had to do something about it. And there was a charter law that was coming to pass. And we thought, why not? Why not take a chance? Why not take the best ideas and create something that would actually provide the high quality education that would lift them up? And so I don't think I ever thought about oh, let's go in and manage schools. I thought, let's go in and provide what children need today so they have a better future tomorrow.
What do you think is different about friendship that has allowed it not just to endure for nearly 30 years, but to evolve into this place and space where it meets what students need right now? Because, everyone that started off with you 30 years ago, 10 years ago, they may have merged, they may have changed form. Some of them have closed their doors, but friendship still stands strong. How does that growth and sustainability happen?
Friendship is a strong, stable institution that remains every day focused on children. For us, it wasn't about building or correcting systems. It was about making sure children have and had what they need. And so for me, it is that every person who comes into friendship, our teachers, our families, our other staff, our entire faculty on a daily basis is moving in step with our mission to make sure that we are bringing children, not just the best classrooms in DC, because we have the best classrooms in DC, but people who care about children, who want joy in their classrooms. And so for me, the difference in friendship is when you walk into any friendship classroom, yes, you are going to see high standards. You're going to see expectations. You're going to see students and staff working hard, but you are going to see the laughter. You're going to see the joy. You're going to see children reaching out and helping each other. And that to me is what makes friendship special. It's the people.
And I want to get to the people because I believe friendship's people are unlike any other group of educators anywhere. But chapters, was there a chapter that was really turnkey for you? You've been the CEO for 10 years. Before that, you were the chief operating officer. You were also the person who started the first early college program within a public charter school, high school. But was there a chapter that was just transformative for you at Friendship?
There have been many transformative moments, seasons at Friendship. One of the first ones for me was when we started and we had 2 elementaries. We were going to open a middle and then a high school. And so as the high school was developing, we realized traditional high school, it doesn't work for what we want. And so we did a ton of research, visits, went all over the country and figured out that we could give our kids, our high school students, an early college experience. And we decided, I think it might have been November, that the way to do it and prove that our students could do the work was to have college level courses in high school. We decided that in November and January we rolled out those courses. Now I've done a lot of work over my lifetime, but seeing that we could make a decision about something that was best for children and then turn it around just in a few months and deliver on it. I mean, schools are special places because you can move as quickly as your vision and your mission carry you, or you can be held back as much as you might let the status quo and the existing system tell you that you can't move. And so to me, just understanding that was a turning point. So we're not going to be held back by people that tell us what we can or the kids can or they can't. We're going to prove that they can. And we did that with DC's first early college.
Would you say that is one of the most unique and impactful levers that public charter schools can push and pull that may not exist in more traditional systems?
I think that innovation exists everywhere. But do you have the structures to let it flourish? When I think about that moment and I think about what we're able to do or what charters were able to do, I think the benefit that we had is that we said we were going to do it. We had political headwinds with us. We had families with us, and we just put a stake in the ground and said, this is what our kids deserve. They deserve to show the world that they can take on college level work. Yes, while even in high school. And so people saw it as innovation. I saw it as proof of the power of our education, proof of the power of our educators, and proof that our children were ready.
So that is so important because I can think of many proof points. One of the most, I think, incredible proof points, and frankly, essential not just to public education, but our overall safety and well-being, was the role that schools played during COVID. right? Everything was really turned on its head in 2020. But somehow, friendship emerged as a standard bearer on how to maintain quality instructional connection, family connection, and even bringing students in person and virtually. How did you do it?
In our communities, we always knew that education, that schools, that having this place where children belonged and went to every day was critical. And so when COVID started turning everything on its head and kids weren't going to have schools, we knew one thing. We had to deliver so that they never lost a connection to us. We got COVID tests donated from somewhere. We brought nurses in. And if you needed a place for your kids to go, if you were a first responder, if you were a parent that had to keep working, you could bring them right to us at Friendship. And we were going to have teachers and staff and security and lunch ladies and everything that you could think of in a school there for children that needed some place to go. And we still had our kids online, right? Because you had to do that during COVID. But we also said we weren't going to shirk our responsibilities for children that needed the custodial care. And I am quite proud of the Friendship people who decided to leave their homes in the middle of this uncertainty to come into our schools and to provide a safe place for children.
That sounds much more than a schoolhouse, a classroom, a teacher who's even committed to academic excellence. That sounds like family. So Friendship often says friendship is family. Tell me, what does family mean? You gave me a little bit, but for you, what does family mean at Friendship?
So you do hear that often. You will hear often, friendship is family. You will also hear one friendship. And when you think about strong families, they are united. It exists at Friendship. Passion for the work, an understanding of the children we serve, feeling that sense of responsibility, joy in each other's celebrations. In fact, I would say that when you think about Friendship being family, I think about being at graduation ceremonies a couple of weeks ago. And so you're sitting on the stage, I'm sitting on the stage, and I look out. And yes, you see family members in the crowd shouting out their children. You see their smiles and their joy. And I look across to the Friendship staff, and you wouldn't know that that wasn't someone's mother, father sitting in the Friendship crowd. I mean, we are all the aunties, I would say. But the joy that our staff has from seeing children rise, that's family.
The stories that you tell are the underpinning are strong academic data. Tell me what that data means and what is most compelling. What would you want people to know about Friendship's academic outcomes?
When people talk about Friendship and praise us now, what they'll talk about is the fact that we have 3 times the growth of the city in ELA, 2 times the growth in math, that 2 out of 3 of our students are in advanced placement courses. And of course, we are quite proud of the 100% graduation rate and 100% of students accepted to college. Tens of millions in scholarships for those graduates every year. I always feel a sense of urgency. I always know that that 3rd grade child will only be in 3rd grade one time. And so if we are not delivering what they need in terms of, reading supports, math, have they learned their early multiplication tables, then we're not getting them ready. And so that urgency drives me. And when I see it in the results, I can't tell you. First of all, I run toward every assessment and data point that we have. And I'm like, please, just, where are we? Where do we see the highlights? Where do we see the things that we have to work on? And it's no secret. We came out of the pandemic and became the fastest growing, highest performing network in the city when you look at our students and growth. And it doesn't matter which students you are seeing, right? I have heard so many things that I know it's hard, but when people say, well, I serve these students, or these are the weaknesses my students come in with, or here go the gaps, or it's the community, all I can see are children who are achieving to the level we set out for them and through the resources and expectations and the adults that we put in front of them. And so I'm not surprised when I look at the numbers. I've seen belief made real because we designed it and we supported it and we created the system underneath it and we gave kids a chance to shine because it was already in them.
So for that ambitious school founder, that ambitious teacher that is just, she can't sleep at night because she's thinking about these kids that she'll wake up to the next day. I want to achieve what Friendship has achieved. Tell me, where would you say, how do I start? What would you say to them?
I'd say to the ambitious school founder, never take your eyes off the prize. And what that means to me is never take your eyes off the children and what they can achieve. Because everything else that's thrown at you, and people think, you're in schools, so that means it's classrooms and it's instruction and it's finding the right teachers. And it is all of that. And it is real estate, and it's loans and financing, and it's human resources, and it is all of these other things that you have to do. But you have to do them knowing if I'm out negotiating a deal for a building, it's because I know that facilities are the foundation. We are going to bring our children into some place beautiful, structured, ready for them, so it helps them to learn.
So Friendship is right there at its 30th year birthday. I remember a few years ago, you coined the phrase journey to 30. What does it mean to lead an organization that's almost 30 years and is a beacon for a movement? What does that mean? 30 years of friendship.
30 years of friendship says that we respected and honored the first families that walked through our doors, and they were desperate. They were desperate for a place that would hold their children, provide what they needed, and get them ready for the next step in life. And so I think about those early families. They didn't know. What did it mean to be a charter? What did this new school mean? But they knew they needed something better, and they took a chance on us. And so I will tell you, the 30 years flew by like that. When asked about my future and the future of friendship, this is the commitment I'm making. I know that our education is working for children and their families. So we're committed to do one thing: build more great schools for the children who need us. And whether that's here in DC or helping people understand the friendship magic so they can deliver those schools across the country, that's what we're going to do.
Well, thank you for being a legacy bearer. Thank you for being a builder. Thank you for being a visionary. We expect even greater things over the next 30 years. And congratulations. Your friendship community and really all of us are so incredibly proud of you. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.